Hello, my name is Gregory Piccirilli, and this is my introductory speech. Snacking is something that everyone does, and most tend to either favor salty or sweet snacks. I myself have always favored salty foods, such as pretzels, Cheez-Its, and things like that, but in particular, popcorn has always been my favorite. It has always been my go-to snack, and has remained a constant in my life throughout childhood and into my adult years. Every night when I was little, I would pop a bag in the microwave and always loved to get it when I go to the movies. I used to be in Boy Scouts too, and even on our camping trips, I would have to bring my popcorn. I would bring it either in those tins that you can make on the campfire or just the loose kernels that you can make by heating it in oil. It's a comfort food for me and reminds me of my childhood whenever I have it. There is one brand in particular that I crave, which is Orville Redenbacher's. I've tried other ones such as Act 1 and just the generic store brands, but they really just aren't as good. Something about how buttery and salty the Orville Redenbacher's is makes it just amazing. And there's only one other brand besides Orville Redenbacher's that I really enjoyed, which is the Popcornopolis brand that they make in Disneyland. I've only had the opportunity to try it a few times because it is very expensive and used to be only exclusive to Disneyland. And I was kind of skeptical about how good it would be at first because it's supposed to be a famous popcorn. It's very expensive and really had been hyped up to me. But then when I did actually try it, I realized that, yeah, it is a really good popcorn too. The two kinds that I tried from them that I liked were the cheddar popcorn and the zebra popcorn. And I usually don't like cheddar popcorn or sweet foods, which is what the zebra popcorn is, because it's got chocolate and white chocolate drizzled on top of kettle corn. So I was kind of surprised that I liked those, but they both were really good. And because it was so expensive, I only bought like 2 bags when I went there to Disneyland in California, but I really did fall in love with that popcorn too. I savored it for a long time and tried to make it last, but now I've noticed that the Popcornopolis brand is actually sold in grocery stores too, so sometimes I'll get those, but it's a lot more expensive than my usual favorite, which is the Orville Redenbacher's. And one of my best memories of having popcorn when I was a child was when I was very sick with food poisoning. I had been just miserable and throwing up and couldn't keep anything down for days, and finally, after a couple of days, I made a bag of popcorn in the microwave and was eventually able to keep that down. And I remember my parents were just so happy because I was finally getting better and actually able to keep something down. And they're like, oh yeah, he can have the popcorn. So that memory really solidifies it as a comfort food for me. Like, I know I'm going to be okay when I have popcorn. And as I've gotten older, and ever since I met my fiance, I've tried to become more health conscious. So I've realized that having a bag of popcorn per night probably isn't very good for me because it's got so much sodium and saturated fat in it from the butter, or in the case of the Popcornopolis brand, from the sugar in the zebra popcorn. However, I found the healthy alternative to that, which is the Smart Pop version of the Orville Redenbacher's, and this has a lot less saturated fat and sodium in it, so it's really just a healthy snack at this point. So nowadays I'll still have a lot of popcorn, but I usually just have the Smart Pop version rather than the buttery kind, and I'll just have the buttery kind like maybe once a week. So in conclusion, popcorn has always been my favorite food for as long as I can remember. When I was a child, I loved having it, just a bag of it per night, and getting it at the movie theaters whenever I went there, or just whenever I could have popcorn as a snack, I would get it. It's remained a large part of my life, and I enjoy having it at least a few times a week. It reminds me of my childhood whenever I have it, and is definitely a comfort food for me. And now that I've gotten older, I've realized that popcorn isn't really that healthy, but I try to cut back on that somewhat by having the Smart Pop brand. But popcorn will always remain my favorite food and reminds me of my childhood. Thank you for your time.